Did you know 1 in 4 women in America face domestic violence in their lifetime? This month on TNN, we are focusing on domestic violence. Janani Jones talked to domestic violence activist Renee Mitchell to get some insight.
What is domestic violence?
Domestic violence is when two people in a relationship and one tries to use power and control to take over that person's life, their emotions, and where they go, who they're talking to, spending time with. It's basically an attempt for power and control.
What is the incidence of domestic violence?
Domestic violence generally affects women, but there are about 1 in 4 girls, 14 to 17, that experience dating violence. And this can happen when someone is trying to make them feel like they're not very valuable.
What are some resources that women could go to?
Fortunately, in Portland, there are a lot of resources, and one of them is one that I co-founded, which is the Healing Roots Center that serves African and African American survivors. But there's also Bradley Engel House. They have a shelter, and they have services, they have groups, they help women get housing and food and childcare. There's also the Women's Crisis Line that you can call 24 hours to try to get some assistance. I would say 1 in maybe 10 of those folks actually are able to get into a shelter because there's so many people that this affects. And coming up in January is one of the worst times of when women experience domestic violence because of the football season, and that tends to be an excuse for sometimes their partners to act out. And so January is a time when people are seeking a lot of domestic violence shelter and help and services.
Thank you for coming.